Hello world, this is my brand new video about visiting Kyrgyzstan, a Central Asian country that became independent in 1991 as a result of the dissolution of the Soviet Union. Let me quickly introduce you into this country. Kyrgyzstan borders such countries as Kazakhstan, China, Tajikistan and Uzbekistan. Kyrgyzstan has some oil and gas and a developing gold mining sector. Widespread poverty and ethnic divisions between North and South have spilled over into violence, and 3 presidents have been swept from power by popular discontent since independence. Settled by Kyrgyz tribes from southern Siberia in the 17th century, the area was ruled by various regional powers before coming under Russian and the Soviet rule. Most of Kyrgyz are Turkic-speaking Muslims. At the same time, Russian language along with Kyrgyz has official status. Me and my friend Andrew went to Kyrgyzstan for several days to explore some of the country's peculiar sites. Firstly, we went to check Burana Tower, one of the oldest architectural constructions in Central Asia. Burana Tower was an ancient minaret constructed more than 1000 years ago. It was located about 80 kilometers east of Bishkek, near the town of Tokmak. The tower was a part of the ancient city of Balasagun, which was established at the end of the 9th century. Sadly, we can't get inside this tower because it's locked. There is the staircase leading on the very top of it. Another part of this open-air exhibition are these ancient monuments. So it's basically a part of the ancient graveyards. They literally look like coming from Stone Age. Amazing. These stones are parts of ancient mills, effectively millstones. Okay, we have just returned to the town of Tokmak and found this interesting monument devoted to the Second World War. There is such a massive Kyrgyz flag, the emblem of Soviet Union. And the last update of this monument was like a year ago, when there was a celebration of 77 years after the end of the Second World War. After visiting Burana Tower, we returned to Bishkek. We spent the night there and the following day went to Lake Issyk-Kul. We are gradually moving towards the Lake Issyk-Kul, and this is an intermediate stop on our way, sort of the cafe. There all of these marshrutkas stop. There is such a wonderful panorama on the surrounding area. It seems that we have made it to Kyrgyz nowhere. There is Lake Issyk-Kul, and somewhere there is located our Yurt camp, where we are going to overnight today. It took us 5 hours to get here from Bishkek, following disgusting road that was constructed probably in Soviet Union and has not been ever reconstructed.
Hello.
Привет. Okay, we are approaching the lake. I already see that water here is so transparent and clean. I think we'll touch it pretty soon. Alright, it seems that we have made it to our yurt camp. We are now in the actual yurt. This is the dining room of nomads. It seems that people who organized this camp actually live here, so they are real nomads. That's the construction of yurts, so it's basically this sort of the kind of a big, very big tent. There are many tables for quite a lot of people. We've just been served a lunch, and we also discovered that it's true that the construction of this yurt almost does not contain nails, so it all connected by these wooden sticks and ropes. Aside from these 2 wooden pillars that are kind of additional support of the construction. Okay, this is gonna be our home for tonight. This is the actual yurt. Here is
It's actually
the
really
nomad.
comfortable.
Yeah,
So nice.
just like 2 beds. It's pretty simple on the one hand, but that's the thing. It covers you, it protects you from precipitations, from wind and stuff, and it also must be warm here. Here's even like the plug, the electricity, the light. Okay, we are again on the road, so now we are going to explore the surrounds of Issyk-Kul Lake, of the yurt camp where we stayed at. It's actually a very scenic area, so here is not just lake, but there is also a number of mountains, hills, and here is even a massive canyon, which is a pretty well-known attraction in this place. А так вообще вот в этой местности сейчас есть какое-то развитие? А как сейчас?
Нормально. Лучше Советского Союза. Russian Союз гоняли же. Не хочешь, работай, давай. Если не сможешь, лопаты бери или вилку бери. Работай.
Ну вы говорите, развитие есть, это, конечно,
Развитие
хорошо.
Только 2 года началось развитие. До этого сколько президентов убежали. Гоняли.
Убежали.
Их забрали. Сейчас один в Беларуси, один в Москве.
After half an hour of driving, we ended up in a place surrounded by yurts, patterned fences, and wall paintings. A center of culture, science and spirituality was supposed to appear here 15 years ago. It was supposed that in this place the Kyrgyz youth would meet with the elders to exchange ideas and experiences. Students and elders were supposed to live in yurts on the shores of Lake Issyk-Kul. This place was probably built with the participation of Kurmanbek Bakiyev, the former president of Kyrgyzstan, who was removed from power during the Second Kyrgyz Revolution in 2010. On one of the walls of the complex there is an image of snipers on the roof of the White House in Bishkek. During the protests in 2010, they shot the most vocal protesters. According to official data, 84 people died during that protest. On the top of the mountain opposite the monument there is a statue of Sayekbay Karalayev, a Kyrgyz poet storyteller.
Все.
We've made it to the mountains of Kyrgyzstan, where the next place of interest is located. This area, back to Soviet Union, was visited by the first Soviet cosmonaut, Yuri Gagarin, and they basically placed the monument, such incredible stone devoted to Yuri Gagarin. It's actually the very cool monument, and it says that it was reconstructed by Moscow authorities. But the monument itself appeared here in the times of Soviet Union. The area here is super lovely. It's virgin nature, such a wonderful river. Even snow has not entirely melted yet. This road is leading to some gold mines located 60-70 kilometers deeper in the mountains. In less than 100 kilometers there is the Chinese border. There is also a series of waterfalls. I guess one of them is even visible from here. There it is in the center of the frame, but it's entirely frozen. So it's interesting that here is actually two monuments to Yuri Gagarin. Here is the second one. This one is less remarkable because it's so like gray. We are approaching the final place of interest for today, which is called Fairytale Canyon. It's also located close to Issyk-Kul, but it's sort of the deviation from the main road that surrounds the lake. But this place seems to be even more touristy than Gagarin's statue, easily accessible by car. It's interesting to see different colors of soil here. At some point it contains sulfur, which is responsible for this yellow color of the soil. Look at these wonderful forms. It's like medusas made of stone. It literally feels like you are on Martian surface. The terrain here is so impressive. I think this is the best view where you can observe both the canyon and the lake. Look. We have returned to our Yurt camp, and this is the place where we are going to spend our night, in this lovely yurt. There are plenty of them on its territory. Let's get straight to the lake and touch the water of Issyk-Kul. There it is, Lake Issyk-Kul, one of the biggest lakes in Central Asia. It's a bit wavy because of the wind, but anyway, such a transparent, clean water, which also supplies this camp and probably nearby settlements. Many of Soviet resorts were located on this lake, but also many of them have been abandoned. It's a new day in Kyrgyzstan. I've just woken up in our wonderful yurt. The sleep here was very comfortable, probably because of free blankets and this massive radiator that heated it. So the plan for today is to set off Andrew and continue exploring Kyrgyzstan solo. This new day is going to be a chill pace. We decided to walk around our yurt camp because yesterday we spotted an interesting location nearby, which turned out to be an abandoned pioneer camp, which was pretty popular back to Soviet Union, because even children from Latvia, so completely like opposite part of the country, came here. But since the breakup of the USSR, it's been abandoned completely. But there are still some interesting constructions, probably some dormitories, maybe some mosaics, paintings that we can find and enjoy. Okay, let's get in straight here. It's actually likely that they still have a security guard on this territory, but I don't think that even if I get caught here, I would be in trouble. Okay, it's just one of the numerous abandoned constructions here on the territory, but as you can see, it's just bare walls. There is literally nothing inside. It's totally ruined. Wow, look at this lovely painting. It depicts happy children, happy animal, so pretty much happy Soviet concept of life. That's probably what many people are missing after the breakup of the USSR. Each block had its number, but I do like these masterpieces. I think there used to be kind of the information desk in this metal frame. Incredible. The time just stopped here. There is another lovely painting on block number 6 showing different means of transport. The police officers who regulate traffic, young officers. This alley led to this Soviet canteen. Again, just bare walls. You see they have prepared this new window, so it's likely that this camp will be partly reconstructed. Okay, let's get inside this dorm. There were dozens of rooms for children, so nothing to see inside, as it usually happens with abandoned constructions. It seems to me that at least a part of this building is going to be reconstructed according to these new windows installed. I think it was a square where a teacher listened to the anthem of USSR, watched its flag. Look, this is the flag pillar, it's a massive red star on the bottom. Here is another kind of a square with the fountain in its center. It was probably constructed in 1978 when this area experienced its development. Lake Issyk-Kul is totally amazing. It's highly unlikely that I will eventually swim in this lake, mainly because of very inconvenient approaches to the water. Oh, it's so slippery. I would definitely not even try to swim here. Near coastline, it's not like super cold. I imagine if I spent several minutes in this water, that would be too miserable. I mean, my body would just not tolerate it. It's a new lovely day in Kyrgyzstan, and today we are exploring its capital city, which is called Bishkek. There is not that much places of interest, so one day would be probably enough to see the majority of them. Now we are pretty close to the city center, walking down the territory of the Central Mosque. It's not a secret that the Second World War affected all of the territories of the Soviet Union, because people from all of these 15 states were sent to the war. And here is such a massive monument to the victory in this war in Bishkek. And here is internal fire, a necessary attribute of the majority of such monuments. Ultimate Soviet mosaic has been found in the very center of Bishkek. There used to be the fountain, which is now switched off, so there are some fishes, some marine animals, which is kind of evident for this place, like a fountain which is full of water usually. And this is probably one of the most beautiful buildings in the whole city. This is National Opera Theater. I wouldn't say that this is a typical building because here is a lot of decorations, way more than it usually is on such theaters, particularly on this upper side. There are some statues on the roof and also very rich decoration between columns and that statues, with the coat of arms of Soviet Union, by the way. There is Oak Park in the very center of Bishkek. Very nice to walk around here, particularly in summer when the air here is way more fresh than now because of the leaves, so trees will produce more oxygen. Such an awesome monument to Kyrgyz-Russian friendship. And apparently Kyrgyzstan is still a friend of Russia because it takes part in parallel imports of goods that are sanctioned in Russia. It's interesting that this square appeared here pretty lately, in 2017, so just 6 years ago. There is a remarkable monument to the heroes of the 7th of April. And 7th April of 2010 there was a revolution in Kyrgyzstan. Former President Bakiyev was deposed and he fled to Belarus. And now he is under protection of Lukashenko, and since then there is a new government in Kyrgyzstan. Such a strict architecture of the National Parliament building. Even though Kyrgyzstan is a Muslim country, there is a massive Saint Trinity Church in Bishkek. Approximately 15%, or maybe currently it's like 10% of the whole population of Kyrgyzstan are Russians, but are usually Orthodox, and that explains why here is Orthodox Cathedral. Incredible Soviet mosaic has been preserved on the facade of a clothes factory. It says, "Our labor is for you, the motherland." While exploring outskirts of Bishkek, I found another Soviet mosaic depicting a huge Kyrgyz family, as I guess. It is called Meeting of Guests, so it probably depicts the hospitality of Kyrgyz nation.